In this video, we're kicking off a new series where I review your Pokemon. In the Nirth Hard Discord, there is now a new text channel. You can check the video description for more information about the Discord in general. It is a premium Discord, just so that is mentioned. The Nirth Hard Discord, Pokemon Sleep category, YouTube My Mon. So if you guys post screenshots of your Pokemon in the YouTube My Mon text channel, there's a decent chance that I will end up reviewing those Pokemon in a video like this one. In this video specifically, we're going to have a look at 4 of VelocityRaptor22's Pokemon. And another thing I can quickly mention is you can also go to notifications. There is now a new notification role called Sleep. If you assign yourself that role by just reacting to the emoji under it, it's very self-explanatory when you go into this text channel, then you'll be notified whenever something important happens in the Sleep category. One of those things may be in the future where I'll be doing a theme review. So I may ask a question such as, give me your best healer. Tag the role and maybe I get 10 of you to post that and we can do some sort of a speed review and see if we can crown the best healer and give some claps to those of you who end up on the top rank for the different questions. That idea specifically was given by Harpy King. Thank you very much for that. That was an awesome idea and I'm really excited about this series overall. So let's not wait any further to hop into this new content. In this video, we'll be reviewing, done this take so many times, 4 Pokemon by VelocityRaptor. And not only will we use the updated Dreams simulator here, this is not even hopes because these are the dream scenarios. When I made this text channel, all of you guys just posted your best finds, which I absolutely love. Plenty of people will be left jealous after this video, I'm sure. And so, yeah, the Hopes and Dreams simulator, we're going to use that. And in addition, we will be getting a sneak peek/preview of my website, which I'm working on. There are some useful tables on that website, which will be interesting in the analysis here. So before further ado, let's hop into this. So the first Pokemon that VelocityRaptor shared is a level 50 Tyranitar. This is a beast. I see also that the main skill is level 3. So this Tyranitar has evolved twice. And based on the sub-skills and everything, it seems to have 500 hours or more because the inventory is 32. This Tyranitar is interesting for a couple reasons. The first is the nature. It's got the speed up, energy recovery down nature. Overall, it is a little bit detrimental with the energy down on a Tyranitar because it does affect the main skill as well as the healing with the sleeping. So you may counter that with an extra main skill seed like I did on my Tyranitar. If you have a good healer, it is absolutely not necessary. But either way, the speed up here is really nice. And the reason why it's especially nice on this Tyranitar in specific is it has berry finding. Overall, berry finding is a very strong trait no matter which specialty. Although for a lot of ingredient specialists, you have to balance the inventory with the added production that 100% boost to the ingredient finding will give you. So for Tyranitar, which has 2 pre-evolutions and a decent starting inventory, especially now after the ribbons, I don't think you'll have a big issue with inventory, especially if you're not really running it much during night. But even if you're running during night, you have berry finding. So it's kind of like, okay, you get sneaky snacking, you wake up to a big inventory full of stuff, and you just live your life. The 2 next sub-skills are Ingredient Finder S and Ingredient Finder M. These are huge for ingredient specialists. So with the speed up nature and the Ingredient Finder S and M, we see that the ingredient rate of this Tyranitar goes from 26.5% to 41%. That is huge. getting close to 50% on the ingredient rate is absolutely crazy. And it's almost to the point where the ingredient finding here is a big question mark, because these traits are so strong that you're almost not getting any berries. 60% is still a whole lot, don't get me wrong, but 40% on the ingredient rate is ridiculous. The next subskill here, level 75, is a ways away because Tyranitar is a pseudo-legendary, so it's super hard to level up. It's Inventory L. So you have Berry Finding and Inventory, great combo if you have the Berry Finding on an Ingredient Specialist. You have both Ingredient Finder subskills with a Speed Up nature, which helps ingredients and berries. Not only that, if VelocityRaptors somehow can get this Tyranitar to level 100, it also has the helping bonus. So all things considered, a very, very crazy Tyranitar. Now here's my small problem, potentially, with the Tyranitar. It is the ingredient list. Now, because all of these subskills and the nature and everything just stacks nicely, it's not a huge deal. Overall, these are some of those few instances where you may go for that. I forgot what it's called. Compromise, sorry. And the ingredient list is ABC. So you got ginger at level 1, you got beans at level 30, and you got sausage at level 60. For the most part, if you have a Pokemon that you are considering to level up to level 60, it is mostly the B, no, even not B, but it is the level 30 and the level 60 slot that matters most. These two here are mostly just nice for it to look nice when you have that mono ingredient list, for example, or that ABA or something like this, but VelocityRaptor's Tyranitar in specific is an ABC. So ginger, beans, bean sausage. Beans and bean sausage, if I don't remember incorrectly, it has some nice synergy with a few of the meals, so it's not really bad. And overall, you can almost treat this as a strong, weird berry specialist, ingredient specialist / ingredient finder or ingredient magnet type thing, where you do get a mix of stuff, and maybe if you have a big ingredient bag, it kind of works out and you get a lot of berries and stuff like this. So yeah, just something to think about. Those compromises may be productive at times when you just have pristine stuff like this. Berry finding, both of the sub skills that are related to ingredient finding. You have some inventory to balance out the berry finding, and you have the helping bonus, which in general is a cracked sub skill. And then you have that speed up nature too. So overall, a very cool Tyranitar. And the last thing that we're going to do here for the Tyranitar is we're going to have a preview of my website. So we're currently looking at the upcoming, sometime eventually, nirthhard.com. And at the very top here in the menu, I hope you can see my cursor, we have the sleep decks, we got some lists, and in this video specifically, we're going to navigate over here to the sidebar menu. We're going to hit ingredients, and that helps us get right to where we need to be, and we go on Tyranitar. The article here is not finalized. It is still a work in progress. It is a huge task writing a unique article for each of these Pokemon. So the classic widget design is right over here, and the tables that I wanted to showcase in this video are these two right here. There is also a third table here for berry values, but I'm not too worried about that. And so yeah, just have a look at this table right here. I will explain this in depth in this video, but just know that in subsequent videos, you may want to just pause the video if you want to read the text and really understand these tables before you get to eventually click around on the website when it is published. Right now, the nirthhard.com domain is just sending you to my YouTube channel. So yeah, anyway, so the first table, it gives a breakdown of the ingredient values per production for Tyranitar by ingredient slot. So that means, for example, at level 30, the A ingredient is producing, every time it is an ingredient drop of the A ingredient at level 30, 545. That means this cell right here specifically has a value of 545. This down here, the beans are 100 per bean. It's 500. And therefore, this over here at level 60, the B ingredient, has value 800. The reason why these tables are useful is because you can locate in the columns which value is highest. And sometimes there is a huge discrepancy, like a big difference between the lowest value and the highest value. I wouldn't say this is a huge difference. 50 is decent, but there are certain examples of Pokemon that have 150 or more, and that is very extreme. And it makes it to where you may not always want to go for the obvious choice when it comes to the ingredient lists, just because if you find a Pokemon that have very strong sub-skills, but an odd ingredient list, but the average value is way, way higher, then it may be a compromise you're willing to take. So for Tyranitar, 545 is the A ingredient, level 30 is the highest value in this column. And then we can see that the C ingredient, which are bean sausage, is the highest at level 60. It's higher than 800 and it's higher than 763. Now these values are then the source for another table here, which just calculates the average value. So at level 1, the only thing you can get is 218. So that's why it's 218 in all of these. At level 30, you can either have A or you can have B. And so that's why these are different than, for example, the AA list here is the average of 545 and 218. And these each have a 50-50 split chance of dropping when at level 30 or higher. So the average between 545 to 18 is 382. Now, why is this important? The level 60 column is a little bit weird because for most people, you probably would like the mono ingredient meta, AAA, for a lot of the top tier Pokemon. In the case of VelocityRaptor's Tyranitar, he's got the ABC, and the average value at level 60 of the ingredients produced, this is the base value, is 514. It is higher than ABB. It is also higher than Mono by a very small amount. And so for the most part, it is beneficial to have the Mono meta because it is helpful to prepare the dishes where when you run, for example, a AAA Tyranitar, you get only the one ingredient you kind of need. And so maybe the difference here in 5 base points is not a whole lot. Then you see the ACC here with the highest value, 529. That's almost, that's all of a sudden 20 points different. And as mentioned earlier, some Pokemon have a difference here that is like 50, 75, 100 at times. And that's when you have to just reconsider some of these lists in some cases where you find a Pokemon with really strong sub-skills that kind of support that awkward ingredient list, where the awkward ingredient list actually has a higher average value. And if you have a big ingredient bag, then you can kind of adjust that as you go. Okay, so that was a little bit of a brief here on these tables, and I hope you found that interesting. We're gonna hop over to the next Pokemon. And I understand this is a pretty in-depth video. It's also to try to explain just the concept. I may go a little bit faster in future videos, so just leave me some feedback in the comments if you want to, as we are piloting this new series on the channel, which potentially could become quite interesting and valuable for you guys. The next Pokemon that VelocityRaptor has shared is a Gengar. Now, I wish I had some automatic button here that just like zeroed everything out. I may be working on that, but it's not finalized. So for now, we'll just have to zero this out by hand. And the Pokemon we're going to have a look at next is Gengar. Okay, so the first thing that stands out to me when I look at the screenshot of this Gengar is the fact that it has the ABB ingredient list. That means it's got herbs, and then mushrooms, and then mushrooms. Before we even dive into the sub-skills here, just super curious to bring back up again the website, because I'm going to show you something pretty cool with Gengar. Go to the Sleep Decks, hit the ingredients, and there's Gengar. And we scroll down here to the tables, and we know A is herb, and B is mushrooms, as we can see up here in the widget. At level 30, mushrooms has the highest value of 668, which is higher than 650. At level 60, it is also the B ingredient that has the highest value. This just differs from Pokemon to Pokemon based on the type of ingredient and the volume. So what's cool here is when we then go down to the average values, you can see that the ABB list has 643 as its average production value whenever it drops ingredients at level 60. And that is huge. It is the highest of all of these, and it also happens to be the best ingredient list overall with the ingredients that you get. As of the recording of this, we also have a mushroom Pokemon in Quagsire, which is pretty strong, but even then, Gengar is a really, really strong ingredient specialist because it's so fast, even though it has a low ingredient rate. Kind of makes up for it in the speed here and also the value in these, like over 600 on the average value of the ingredient drop at level 60 is ridiculous. So that makes us ready to have a look at some of these sub-skills, because we then had an example of an ingredient specialist where not only the optimal ingredients that you farm happen to also be the highest average production value, and that's not always the case, as we saw with the Tyranitar. Okay, this Gengar is pretty cool. It has Berry Finding. Berry Finding is an interesting sub-skill on Gengar for the following reason. It has a very, very low ingredient rate. So even if you happen to find all the ingredient boosting sub-skills, getting this 16 anywhere is pretty difficult. A max you'll end up at around 30, which is not a whole lot. It's not bad at all, but it leaves you with an additional opportunity, and that is to run the Berry Finding. Gengar has decent inventory. You can see that base is 18. And then as we put in here that it evolves twice, we get an additional 10 to the inventory. And now with the ribbons, it can potentially get a decent chunk of inventory. I see here on the screenshot that the carry limit is 31. So that means that the hours here are 500 or more. But here's the thing. This Gengar actually does not have Berry Finding in that first spot. It's got Helping Bonus, then Berry Finding. Now, Helping Bonus and Berry Finding is among the strongest combos in the whole game. And simply a Berry Finding Gengar is almost outcompeting in berry value a Bonnet, which is a Berry Finding of the Ghost type. Or not even Berry Finding, but like a Berry Specialist of the Ghost type. And then this Gengar, in addition to those sub-skills, the Helping Bonus, the Berry Finding, it has the Quiet Nature, which to an extent is good. It helps you find those mushrooms that you're actually looking for. You just happen to find a lot of berries along the way too. This Gengar is level 50, and at level 50, it gets Helping Speed M. Huge. It stacks well with Helping Bonus, Berry Finding, getting the mushrooms because speed is good for ingredients, skills, and berries. And then the 2 last sub skills we don't really need to dive into. So that is one incredible Gengar. The strong points are the ingredient list. It has the ingredients that you want, huge for a Pokemon such as Gengar. That is an ingredient specialist. And then as this Gengar is getting more sleep hours, because when you have helping bonus and berry finding on a Gengar, you're going to be using that on your night team too. 2,000 hours, you're going to get to 36 inventory. That's going to be just fine. So you'll find a decent chunk of berries overnight. That's just how it is. Sneaky snacking and all that. But that's going to be decent value because you also want this Gengar to get to level 60. It's currently like a lockstep investment, it seems. Like you just hold on to your candies and dream shards until you can just like jump to the next level up. So maybe from level 50 directly to 60. But anyway, very decent Gengar. And something you may want to look for those of you who are watching this, aside from VelocityRaptor, who's got one already. Gengar is a good dual kind of specialist just because it's so fast, and you also want it to have that high level as an ingredient specialist because the mushrooms are still a bit rare, despite the fact that Quagstar is now out there, so yeah. What I find interesting though is this next Pokemon. And when I created this text channel, I don't know if I said it in this take or not, been working on this video for a while now, but essentially you guys have been posting a lot of just pristine Pokemon, just flooding the chat. I absolutely love it. And by the end of this video, and just as this series continue, we'll get just increasingly more jealous of each other because this is ridiculous. Watch this. So I'm gonna zero out all of these. As mentioned, in the future, I'll have a single button that will fix this for us so we don't have to spend time on it. But for now, it's a little bit manual. It is a legendary. Nirth pointed out, I have to remember to zero out that evolved so we don't get the inaccurate inventory. Okay, so this Gengar, no, what am I saying? Entei. And oh man, can I imagine the smile on VelocityRaptor's face when he saw this. It has the gentle nature. And you already know, right there, it is the best nature you can possibly have on a skill specialist. Arguably, maybe on an Entei. Maybe you want the ingredients down. Either way, the first sub-skill is skill trigger M. And at that point, you're just like, you can pack up your things, like you found it, like, congratulations, you did it. You have the best nature, you have main skill chance up, and skill trigger M, which boosts this skill rate from 2.3 to 3.75, which is crazy. The only thing that Entei kind of needs, and I've tested this myself, is some inventory. Well, we got that too. Inventory L coming up at level 25. And at that point, you can run this Entei for 9 hours straight without running into sneaky snacking issues. That's ridiculous. But wait, there's more. At level 50, this Entei has helping speed M because, yeah, why not? You have the main skill chance up, have the skill trigger M. Why not just top it off with the next in line best sub skill, helping speed down? Wait, there is more. Now, level 75 is a ways away, but there's the helping boost waiting and the helping speed S. Like, how do you top this as an Entei? I don't know. I was pretty satisfied with the Entei that I found, and I made a video and titling it like, does anyone else have a better Entei? Well, here it is. I don't think you can dream up a better scenario. So the Hopes and Dreams simulator, in this case, is the Hopes and Dreams reality TM. That's just going to be the tagline. Reality. Look at this. That's just it for this episode. That is how good this Entei is. Gentle nature. Skill trigger M. Inventory up L. Helping speed M. Helping bonus. And speed S. Ridiculous. I can also mention it's got tomatoes. Doesn't really matter too much. And yeah, the level on it currently is 28, just if you're curious. And I don't know what happened there to the time. That was very strange. Maybe I should go back a little bit, see if I can fix whatever that was. Uh-oh, did I crack my calculator? I must have clicked something wrong at some point. There we go. Is it just putting in Entei that cracks it? No idea why that is. I have to look in my source data later on. That is a little bit of a problem. I do not want to fix that now, but yeah, it's probably just my source data. I've formatted it wrong. So, next Pokemon is Raichu. Does it format correctly? Yes, it does. Nice. So, I also need to zero out these sub skills, and oh man, if you thought the Entei was the treat, which it was, hold my whatever we got in Pokemon Sleep, Moo Moo Milk, you got something good coming your way. At least the eye candy here that is this Raichu. Now I'm just gonna assume that this Raichu is evolved twice because it is main skill level 7. This Raichu has helping bonus, and you guessed it, berry finding, and you guessed it, helping speed M, because why not? And then the two last skills, I guess, yeah, it kind of matters. Research EXP bonus, I guess. The level 100 skill trigger M. And the nature is impish. Its ingredients down, great. That's almost away there. It could have been speed up too, but ingredients down is great. So when you're looking at this, it's ridiculous. It's also seemingly having 500 hours. It says 34 in the inventory. Triple apple too, because why not? And this Raichu has main skill level 7, so some seeds dumped into it, and it makes sense. I also have a Raichu where I've dumped some seeds into it. Instead of the helping bonus, mine has skill level up M, so just 2 seeds. Well, seeds is not just 2 seeds, you know, but if you have a Pokemon such as Raichu, where the stats are this pristine, where it essentially never leaves your team, it is a solid investment. And so, a level 100, this is going to be a cracked Raichu. Serious berry value. Main skill level 10 potentially, and skill trigger M with the speed and the helping bonus and everything. So a very pristine find. Very happy for you, VelocityRaptor. And that we are going to also have a look at the website again. So here we are. We're going to go to Sleep Decks, Berries, and Raichu. And then we're going to scroll down to the berry table, because we don't really care too much about the ingredients. For reference, we can compare here. Raichu's average ingredient production drops at level 60. Look at how low that is compared to the Gengar we just looked at. Okay, but there's a reason for that. This table right here is pretty crazy. So the main number that you may want to just memorize from this table, I would suggest is the level 60 berry finding favored 50% area bonus case, in which Raichu on a berry production will produce 963 Snorlax strength at base. So not base, my bad. With these things factored in. So it is favored and it is 50% area bonus. So for the 3 berries in total per production of berries, this is a pretty high number. And not only that, but Raichu is ridiculously fast. It is one of the fastest Pokemon in the whole game at 36 minutes, 40 seconds at base, which is super, super fast. And especially with VelocityRaptor's Raichu, with a helping bonus and the helping speed M, that's a fast Raichu. So the 963 is a pretty big value. Another value here that can kind of be interesting is just the raw berry finding. And so overall, the Grape Berry has a very low value. If I'm not mistaken, it's almost the lowest. Pamtree and Lum for flying and bug type respectively are the overall lowest, but Grape is pretty much down there too. I think those two other berries are 24 here at base. So yeah. This number right here, 321. And this number right here, 963. Good numbers to just remember and use when comparing Raichu to other Pokemon. You also have to factor in frequency, of course, but as a rule of thumb, that's kind of what you're looking at. So Raichu is ridiculous. And overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would be interested in having some sort of review like this, you can consider becoming a YouTube member of the channel. It is whatever equivalent in your local currency that 19 Norwegian kroner are, or $2 or €2 or something like this. There may be some local tax things that make this like, it's just an approximation and localization and all that stuff. But yeah, Nirth Discord, lifetime access. You just become a member for a month, and if you end your renewal, that's perfectly fine. As long as you follow the rules, you get to keep the access. And it's a great place to be if you're a Pokemon fan. And right now, a lot is happening with Pokemon Sleep, and also the main series chats. So it is this chat right here, YouTube My Mon. And as mentioned in this video too, there will be theme reviews in the future. That's going to be a lot of fun. So best water type we're going to find in our community, and the best healer and all that stuff, and whatever other creative ideas that we can all cook up together. So hope you enjoyed this video. It was a rather long one, and stay tuned for more. I'm going to record a few more of these, so hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I'll talk to you in the next video.